Bah. And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show, and this is going to be episode 159. So I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. So in this episode of the MSK show, we are going to be doing a comic book review on Absolute Batman number 1, and then later on in the show we will do another topic, and that is actually going to be on Ultimate Spider-Man versus Absolute Batman. This was kind of a very heated discussion back in the end of 2024 because DC decided to stir the pot. I'm not kidding. DC chose to literally just kick the hornet's nest.
They did.
And I'm here to debunk all those allegations about everything that DC said that was bullshit. Nah, I'm just kidding. We'll just be pretty much going over what happened at that period in time, because it was really weird to see that happen, because for those of you guys who don't know, before we get to that topic later on, comic book sales are not exactly reported by the big two or even Image Comics or most of the comic book industry anymore. So it was really weird to see them come out and say, we have the highest selling comic book of 2024. And then Marvel was like, huh? Hold my beer? You know?
Oh, dude, it was a pissing match. It was hilarious.
I'm just going to point out, because we're going to review this. This right here had absolutely nowhere near the level of hype that Ultimate Spider-Man had. Ultimate Spider-Man had actual, like, insane hype for a comic book that I haven't seen in a very long time, to the point where literally all the variants of the original run for the first printing were cost at least $60. The main cover was going for like at least $80 to $100. Like, this never had that type of hype. And you know, the word of mouth mostly carried this book later on, but initially going up front, Marvel, guys, Ultimate Spider-Man was very big if you just weren't even there last year around that time period following all that. So when DC came out, I was like, we have the highest selling book of 2024. I was like, oh, whoa. I like to press X to doubt on that, big boys. But I don't doubt that Batman sold well. I'm just doubting the fact that you beat Ultimate Spider-Man. There's absolutely no way, because no one even knew Absolute Batman was going to be a thing. You know,
maybe they sold in the last quarter of 2024 more, but you had, like I said, we've talked about Ultimate Invasion, whether slow, whatever or not, built it up perfectly. They knew Hickman was going to be on it, and they knew Hickman was not just going to be on it for like 6 issues and leave, you know. And that's for Marvel, people know, like, if Hickman's writing and it's going to be an established thing, people are going to buy it. They get hyped for it. So, I mean,
because that's the thing is, if you guys remember, DC essentially was keeping their Absolute universe a secret for so long. And by the time that we even knew it existed, when they actually announced Absolute Batman and Absolute Superman and Absolute Wonder Woman, people already knew it existed. It was just kind of a really horrible kept secret. But the hype really wasn't there, because DC had tried to do that like many times over. And then when the sales just kind of faltered within whatever line they try to produce an Ultimate Universe from, it just didn't work, actually. You know, so people thought they weren't even going to go through with it. Then you got the DC All-In special number 1, and then people knew it was pretty serious. They were just, no, that All-In tagline is serious. They are all in. They need to make this work. There's no ifs, ands, ors, or buts. This has to work. So that was just like, okay, they wanted to put their stamp on. We sold more books than Ultimate Spider-Man. It's like, did you? I don't know.
Yeah, which is hard to say. I mean, I will say when Absolute Batman came out, it did sell, you know, the numbers that we get.
Yeah.
It was number 1 or number 2, and it stayed there. I mean, you could still find Absolute Batman in the top 20.
Yeah, it's gone back for its, as of doing this episode of the MSK show, it is on its 5th printing.
Yeah,
it's 5th printing, and I think they did a noir edition for it on the 3rd printing or 4th one. Oh my god, that looks so beautiful. I love that. God, the cover is so good. It reminds me of the Ghost Rares from Yu-Gi-Oh TCG. I think they need to do that more, though. They
even did it for the 2nd book, because not the noir, but I have this is the 3rd printing.
That's
I
the
believe.
yeah. Oh, it's good. Yeah.
The second one, which they look fine. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong,
Yeah.
wrong with them. The Wonder Woman covers are a little bit to be desired.
I only get the main one. Like sometimes I will pretty much only get between like the main cover and like a cover B or a cover C. I don't usually go for the limited 1 in 25 exclusive retailer variants because I'm not a variant whore, as some would say. I've only ever got one foil variant. That was for the Power Rangers 30th anniversary special comic book that they did back in 2023. That was like the only one that I was like, okay, I really want that specific cover because I didn't really like the main cover. The main cover had all the different shades of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I was like, that one looks okay, but for a 30th anniversary, I want something a little bit more better.
These were the 2 Wonder Womans for number 4 that I got, and
there
was one other one.
That one.
There was one.
Sword. Yeah,
there was one other one too, and it was just like a normal, her standing there type cover. But I think the art in that book is to be desired. Like you either it's one of those ones you either love it or you're just like, what am I looking at? Like what the fuck am I looking at?
Oh gosh. All right. So in a little bit here, we're gonna review Absolute Batman #1. You guys have been wanting to hear my opinions on it for quite some time. Lat's already did a video on it, so he's already well versed in it for quite some time. So if there are some parts that I can't explain about the story, obviously he's going to do it. That's why there's 2 people here, just in case I can't go over every single detail and intricacy. He can as well.
No, right. Yeah.
So the other thing I would say to people before we go, and I'll mention this in the video too, because I know people aren't going to tell most of the time watch the shows too. This is a ultimate universe, okay? This has absolutely, pun intended, literally pun intended, nothing to do with the main universe. I saw some people saying, why are the characters black here? It doesn't matter. This is literally not the main continuity. The main characters have not been race swapped in the main continuity. It's fine. This is literally just an alternate universe where bullshit things that they probably wanted to do for a very long time ended up happening. Because I know a lot of people are saying a lot of the characters in here were black. That was kind of like a big controversy. It doesn't matter, guys. This is an alternate universe that may or may not even get past like 20 issues if we're thinking about it long term. May or may not. I don't know. Just saying.
Right. I mean,
this has nothing to affect the Batman continuity in the main universe. Okay.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens whenever they finally, commingle with the main universe.
Yeah.
If it's successful, then it'll go on. But if it's not, they're going to be like, fuck you, Steve.
Corrupted Perlers.
You can't read. It says corrupted Perlers.
Corrupted Perlers. Oh my goodness. I can't read. Nice to meet you. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We do lots of shows here weekly. Literally, there's not really a day I'm not live unless I literally just take a day off. And normally, I don't really take the day off, and I'll usually just like stream League or some shit like that if I take the day off. So you guys are going to be in for a treat here. I know Walter was like, do you think Absolute Batman is good? And I was like, well, I haven't had a chance to read it. And then we did Absolute Power. We did the All-In special. We did fucking, now we're at this. And guys, you know what's crazy about being on Absolute Batman? Now the world is open. The oyster has now opened its mouth because after this, we could do basically like all of Absolute Batman. Then we'll go to like all of Absolute Wonder Woman. So that's the second one he wanted to do. And then we'll do Absolute Superman because being honest here, based off the word of mouth, I did actually hear that Absolute Batman and Absolute Wonder Woman were like the best, and Absolute Superman was like left to be desired. I don't know. This is what I heard. I'm not saying I read it yet, but I will give you my opinion on those when I get
the first one's good. The first issue of Absolute Superman is good. It's very like it is. It's like, okay, this is intriguing. And then the third issue, I think I told you that the last time we talked, where I was like, I read that third issue, and you can't afford to lull in your story for a little bit. Yeah.
Is it like so bad it's taken off your pull list worthy after one
issue?
No.
It's just it's like they set up a story, right? That's over here. But they're intermingling like what happened on Krypton, right? So instead of just like continuing to do that and keeping it going, they did a whole Krypton issue. And it was just like, I just don't give a fuck about the telling of Krypton, regardless if it's the absolute universe, for the 90 millionth freaking time. I don't care.
Gamer Chick, that's not true.
What's up, Gamer Chick?
Hi, I don't like dick. I'm very, very straight. I would love to see your giant melons you got. Even though she says she has giant melons. I don't believe her. because I don't really
Well,
trust women. I've retired from women as of this week. I'm just fully going to bang them and then leave them. That's what they want. So that's what I'm
you're
giving them.
hobnobbing now.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
But I fucking love Absolute Batman. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you read it and enjoyed it because that's all that matters, you know.
That's actually my friend.
Oh,
that's my buddy.
Is he black?
Man, what do you think?
There's no black people in your area. They can't afford that. That guy's white as hell, probably. That guy probably wears a baseball cap backwards and fucking raps, talk about Eminem or something like that. He ain't black. No way.
No, he's definitely. I think he's definitely Italian.
He's Italian. Okay, good. You guys make the best spaghetti. I don't like spaghetti, but I heard that's what is Italian stereotype?
What the hell are you even talking about? You make the best spaghetti. I don't like spaghetti though, but you make the best of it.
Only Italian I know is that darn Kidith, and she's an interesting person. Let's just say that she's literally insane. Retired from women is code for I'm gay. That's not true. Not true. I'm retired not from like having sex with them. I'm literally only retired from basically believing anything women say as far as like their opinions, ethics, how they portray themselves. But there are women out there that I do respect, obviously, but just the conventional woman, I'm just kind of done on believing them at this point. I will say this. Women literally can have anything they want based on the fact that they have way more options than we do. A girl, because you know how a girl will be like, I want a guy who has all these qualities. There's no way they don't have a guy in their DMs with all those qualities. Why don't they just go for a guy like that? They don't. They literally can have anything they want. They literally can do that based off the options that are available to them. You know, your wife wanted everything you had. You had a good job and you took care of the kids and everything, and she got that the life she wanted.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And then you know a lot of girls say they want what your wife wants,
but then they get married and then it lasts for so long, and you're kind of just like, you know.
Oh God,
that's the way it goes, I guess.
What's the whole thing? Girls want a freaking wedding, not a marriage. Yeah, fucking hell, freaking women. You know, good gosh.
Well, I mean, it's you know, it's the battle of the sexes, and I mean, I'm here for it.
I'll just say this: I'm actually glad more people have these conversations now because it felt like a certain part of Lifetime, it just felt. I don't know. A lot of people got mad at you for criticizing women. How dare you criticize my love? It's like, what is wrong with you?
She's laying into you right now. She said, keep lying to yourself. Maybe someday it'll be true.
I don't listen to women.
She's telling you. She is telling you what is up right now.
Start women opinions. That's what I do. if she was J.K. Rowling, maybe I would listen because J.K. Rowling actually is successful, you know. But then again, we'll see how it goes. Gamer Chick, if you want to go on a date with maybe from ever in Texas, when I fly out there on my airplane, you know, my private jet, you know, in a Lambo that I'll rent when I'm out there, we can have some hot fun.
Don't worry. Someone will definitely be pushing him off a mountain in a cardboard box, and it will fly. We've heard it will fly.
I think you would die from the lack of oxygen.
Well, you know, I mean, hey, it's a good plan either way.
So later on tonight, I'm gonna have a one-on-one with Joel M. Sontag. He is the creator of Reaper Destroyer. We're gonna be talking around 6:30 p.m. PST. Gives us a nice lengthy enough time to do Absolute Batman and talk about Ultimate Spider-Man versus Absolute Batman. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the most part. Nothing else happened. The Captain America Brave New World review that I did, it's already done. It'll be coming out. Probably going to release it tomorrow at this point. It's already pretty late in the day for someone like, you know, your time zone. You're already 3 hours ahead. You guys are already at 7 o'clock. We have that. We have the box office video for Captain America Brave New World's opening weekend. Then after Captain America Brave New World, basically after week 2, there's nothing really more to talk about it. After that, we'll see if it dropped off the face of the earth or if it gained money after that. Probably going to start talking about Snow White at that point because Snow White, oh my God.
Well, I mean, that's a movie that's not made for me. You know, it's just like it's.
What do you mean? I love the original Snow White. I've seen literally all the Snow White. I love. Man,
listen,
Lord, man,
and here's the thing: I love Disney movies. I actually really do. Like Beauty and the Beast is one of my favorite animated movies of all time.
Yeah,
fantastic. Snow White,
that live action version.
It's in that era. Oh, that all the live action Disney movies are like
they did that M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end.
Oh,
so cringe,
so stupid. It's just like they're all soulless movies. Like the Lion King is the one that. Oh wow, look at she. I'm telling you, dude, she is nailing you tonight, dude.
She, lady, you just need to get laid. Women like her talk. You just need to get laid. Literally, I think her favorite position is missionary. Just call a friend over. You know they're gonna do it. Make sure they pull out, and you're good. Jesus honestly. Christ. There's birth control. I don't know if you're taking that.
back to Disney.
Yeah, Disney. Yeah, Mickey Mouse cock. Yep. Good Lord. Hey, a lot of people had Mickey Mouse cock down their throats this past weekend talking about Captain America: Brave New World's budget wasn't $180 million.
Dude, it's got to be up to like almost 400 million at this point. The reshoot of the third movie had to be 180 million.
Dude, correct me if I'm wrong.
We tried to figure it out, right?
Broken down. That movie was essentially broken down. Full movie's done. Broken down from test screenings after the test screenings failed, and then redid from the ground up multiple times. And they want us to believe that people went on set and just started doing shit for free. No actor went back to these reshoots for free. You lying sacks of shit out there. But okay, if you want Mickey Mouse cock going down to your esophagus, then whatever. So, I guess.
From this is what I know 100% for sure. That it filmed and it wrapped in like 2021 or 2, because they had a thing that like came out and said it was wrapped, right? It didn't even get to test screenings. It got the market screening, which was like the executives.
Yeah.
And they were like, no. They wanted it reshot.
It felt boring. Yeah,
right?
I remember.
They wanted it reshot, so they couldn't reshoot the stuff. They had to scrap it and redo it.
This happened multiple times with the whole movie. It got basically full movie scrapped constantly.
So then they did the second one, and they said no, and they wanted it reshot. And I don't know if they kept the whole thing, but I know they reshot again as of just this past November.
Yeah. So the movie was supposed to come out when the McDonald's promos for it came out. The McDonald's promos for it came out last year about when? March, April?
Yeah, it was supposed to come out, I think, in like something July or March, September, something around like that.
Yeah.
And then they moved it to coincide like Black History Month. Kind of like what they did with the Black Panther 2. I think they thought that, they could get some of that same shine from it from being on Black History Month. That's my guess. That's the only thing I can think of, because like it had been supposedly done for a while, and then they had to go back and reshoot again. So like if your budget, let's say 180, because I know we talked about this, tried to figure it out. So let's just say 2 180s, just that, because it was already scrapped and redone again. So that's 360. And then you did reshoots just as November. Let's say another $20-30 million, because like you said, they ain't coming back for free. And guaranteed they did not keep all the visual effects from both movies. So there's no way that they did.
No way. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say like $390 to $400 million for this.
I would give them, given how many times the movie got completely broken down and built from the ground up again, that can't be anything less than 280. There's no way. Because keep it factor in, it's not just reshoots as far as like you go and film this part of a scene differently. It's literally acting. It's literally people working on set, coming to set, your set designers, your caterers, your costume, all the people that are on a movie set coming back routinely multiple times. Do you think all of them just came back for free? All people just went back to work for free? No, that never happened, guys. And keep in mind, it's not just the people that have to come out to work. Keep in mind what also happens in these reshoots, like you said, CGI. You have to constantly keep paying the people that do the CGI work over and over and over and over again. The McDonald's promos came out because the movie was supposed to come out like about a month after that. Didn't come out, got pushed back for that thing you just said there. Movie had to get reshot again. So, what's crazy, I think, I kind of want to see the versions of the movie they had messed up.
I have said it. They need to come out with like a 4K steelbook with all the versions of this movie.
Someone should reveal that I know Hollywood Reporter revealed the actual Flash movie endings they wanted to originally go with and the one that we got. They should come out and just say what the original versions were, because I'll give them credit here. I think potentially the original versions were better than what we got. There's no way.
Yeah, the Flash, it just no. just wasn't like the funny thing about the Flash is the only part that I liked was the part that everybody hated. I liked how when he was in the Speed Force, how everything looked super fake, because like your perception of reality in the Speed Force should not be what is real and what isn't. It should be a bunch of mumbled, craziness. Because if you read whenever Mark Waid made the Speed Force and Wally was in there, and not Barry, but Wally, like it was a big garbled mess, So but other than that, dude, like that movie was so bad.
Flash. Oh my god, I remember the original set photos when they had Michael Keaton and Sasha Kal-El and all of them at that like courthouse scene. Well, you now know that was going to be an ending where the Henry Cavill was going to be there and
came in,
right? Yeah, but that never happened. I was like,
no,
because I remember looking at all this stuff happening. That's why I tell people when they're like, well, if the movie's getting reshot and redone, you're going to get a quality movie later on. It's like, no.
That doesn't always happen. No way. No.
How many times has that happened where that's resulted in an actual good movie? It's
very rarely, if at all, because like obviously if your main, here's the thing, like when you're a director and you get that first one out, that's your vision. You're like, you're telling them that this is what my vision is, whether it's complete or not, or if it's in alpha stage or whatever, that's still your vision for the story. So whenever you have to completely reshoot it, not only are you probably pissed as the director because they don't like your vision, you don't give a shit about it afterwards.
And then, dude, you know what's crazy is people in the media will tell you to believe the media, but then people that work on these movies, or a lot of people that work in this stuff, will say the director, Julius Ona, said, no, there wasn't multiple reshoots. It's like, what are you talking about? Then why didn't it come out last year then? He was the first
2 years ago when it originally
just straight up lying. Then there was one crew member that talked to, I think, Pop Vulture. No, yeah, it was a Vulture, a crew member talked to, saying that I think there was a quote where he said, like, we knew midway through filming this movie it wasn't going to be very good. Like, we're getting so many conflicting reports when people are telling you to believe the media. How can you even believe the media if there's this many conflicting reports? There's a director guy. The director of the damn movie said there was no reshoots. You know the motherfucker bullshitting. You know he's bullshitting out of his ass. That's literally factually a lie. I get it. He has to kind of play ball for the studio. I get it. But just...
Yeah, but like you could still play ball and be like, hey, we had problems, but we fixed them. You could say that before the movie came out because nobody knows how bad the original thing was. There are ways around saying instead of we did not reshoot anything when we knew that. How do you keep that a secret? You have to get studio time. There are film crews that are out in the open. People can see this. And when you sent out a tweet like in 2023 that you were wrapped, but yet you were filming just as soon as November of 2024, that's the reshoot.
I always tell people this. Go and watch it if you want to, because this thing, whether you're gonna like it or not like it, at least you'll come to a conclusion
your
by
own
yourself.
Conclusion. Yeah,
that's all you need. Yeah. Some people have said it's not the. Also, it's not the worst MCU movie. It's definitely not.
People are definitely overreacting about how it's the worst MCU. It's not. It is nowhere near as bad as Eternals. I'm sorry, it is nowhere near as bad.
Or Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah, good lord.
Oh, Thor: Love and Thunder. Oh my god.
I can literally name 5 worst MCU movies. Both Ant-Man sequels, Eternals, Love and Thunder, and Captain Marvel. Those are easily 5 way worse movies.
And the Marvels.
That's crazy. I didn't watch the Marvels or Wakanda Forever or Guardians 3, but I imagine the Marvels is there.
I've seen Wakanda Forever. That was just boring to me because it was like.
So you would call that pretty? Like, would you call that mid?
It was, because it wasn't like, okay, there's going to be people that tell you it was like woke and it was this and that, right? Basically what it was instead of getting the tribute to Chadwick Boseman, like at the beginning of the movie, they just extend it for so long that when Shuri finally takes the mantle, she's only Black Panther for like 30 minutes out of a 2-hour and 30-minute movie. So like the rest of it's kind of just like a bunch of like, oh, the people, I can't remember their name for right now. I don't know why. The military woman, you betrayed us, and this happens, and this happens, and then the son, and then it's just a bunch of like stakes to the throne.
Yeah,
you know. And then Namor comes, or Namor,
the great Namor.
Yeah, that was not good.
I thought I would probably put this movie because Far From Home to me is pretty bad. Far From Home is pretty bad. That movie sucks balls.
I see. I didn't have a problem with it. I when I saw it, I had
Black
fun
Widow.
at it.
Remember that one? Oh,
Yeah,
that
Black
was
Widow was not good. I see the Spider-Man movies. I don't have a problem with. It's I look at those as more for fun. But I said it in my review. But once you start like looking at the story, you're gonna find a lot of holes in it.
yeah. For me, I would probably put Love and Thunder, Eternals, Captain Marvel, Far From Home, both Ant-Man sequels. Fucking hell. What else is there? Oh my god, Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3's.
Yeah,
Iron Man 2 has some moments in there. Iron Man 2 has some stuff in there. It's just all kind of messed up. But I won't call Iron Man 2 a bad MCU movie. Iron Man 3 is legitimately a bad MCU
movie. Yes.
The only thing that kind of saves it is RDJ's acting. That's the only thing that saves it. If he's not in there, that movie's just trash. Oh, like Thor the Dark World? What was Thor the Dark World? That is yuck. Ugh.
Like people had so many problems with like the action in this movie, and like I said, the only problem I had is they kept hitting on like how he didn't take the super soldier serum, so you should have just had him take it, have him take it, and then you could have gotten away with the things that you did, because as soon they kept bringing it up and they kept bringing it up, and then he's doing things that like his other human counterpart Joaquin did, and he's in the hospital. But he does it and he's fine.
I would probably put this movie in the same category as something like, for me, if I were to rank them, it would be like where not She-Hulk, that was trash. No. Shang-Chi. It'd be like in that area.
It would be like the C
like you don't hate it after you watched it, but you didn't.
No.
But you think about, did you really need to watch this in the theater when you did kind of feeling? You know,
well, I had fun whenever I was
watching Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron's pretty.
Age of Ultron. Yeah, I had fun when I was watching it, but the more you think about it, you're just like,
yeah, it's just a very mid. Like if you were ranking, because I know people, there's 35 of these motherfuckers now.
I know, right?
Maybe you'd probably put it, if you were doing a ranking list, I would probably put it somewhere near like 20th. If we're going, like that would be the kind of that mid-ish area.
I usually do S, A, B, C, D. I'd put it at a C.
Yeah. It's nothing offensive. Like they don't really.
No, the people that are going off and saying that this is like, I was sitting there going, what am I like missing?
Maybe I'm different.
That because like I'm pretty critical of superhero movies.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
because I want them to be source material, and I've said, like there are movies that I understand that it's not going to be that, right? But it still doesn't mean that I can't want it to be that. So I have to judge it based on the other Captain America movies, because this is called Captain America.
Captain Africa.
So
America. Captain EBT. Captain.
So based off of the other Captain America movies, it was not a good Captain America.
Now, if people didn't like it because it was mediocre, I think a lot of people are tired of mediocre superhero movies. That's perfectly fine justification to have, because if you're going to it and you're thinking like, oh well, this is just kind of mid, then a lot of people are going to feel like they should have just waited for it, because now, since streaming is bigger than it used to be, it's actually kind of like made people think, do I want to go out and spend the money on a movie, or do I just wait? If you felt like you got a mid-movie experience, you're going to feel like, damn, I could have just waited until it came out on Disney Plus in about a month. Because keep in mind, we know movies like this come out on streaming services in like, what, 3 weeks?
It's going to be like it's going to be like after the movie's done, it's going to be like 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, after it's done, like Sonic the Hedgehog 3, that's a movie you go watch in theaters, in my opinion. That's a theater experience you need to go.
Like my son, my youngest son, he likes Moana, right? And we told him like, I said, you pick one, Sonic 3, Moana, because we just took him to see Despicable Me 4, so he went and saw Sonic 3. But Moana 2 is already on Prime Video, like not the free, but it's already able to buy digitally. So it's like, and that was just in the theater like a month ago.
Oh, speaking of Despicable Me, I've watched all those movies except for the fourth one.
They're fun.
They're pretty. I would say, even though it's childish humor, they are pretty funny. I will give them that. There's definitely some moments
it's made for children. So
are you insulting me?
Well, no, I just have that feeling of like we've went over this before, man. I'm not gonna pick apart a child's movie with like a fine tooth comb. Like I will say this, Gone with the Wind.
In the Minions movie, how in the world they luck into burglars when they go off on their own to.
All right, yeah, I get that.
No, I'm not criticizing. I just think
it still needs to be written competently, like but everybody.
I thought it was hilarious.
When people my age and they're like, movies back then were like like the Goonies and I'm like, have you ever stopped and actually picked apart the Goonies.
Good Lord, man. Like,
have fun doing that.
There's some weird.
Put that same energy into it.
I will say the higher highs of movies back then were higher, but a lot of to understand there were some movies that came out back then that weren't good. There was a lot of
it's
bad
higher
movies.
highs because it's what you experienced as a child.
That's
why.
You don't think it was just because it was just better quality storytelling back then?
Not all the time, no, because I've shown movies to like my older children that like
you stayed there for your kids. You didn't do what Captain Africa did, leave them.
Jesus Christ, dude. So like I wouldn't let my kids watch cartoons like SpongeBob and that shit was stupid to me. So
How
like
dare you?
I bought DVDs and golden cases of like Looney Tunes and stuff like that. And they grew up on that type of stuff. So when they wanted to see movies that they would see on TV, like we would go. But I would show them, like I showed them like Goonies. I showed them The Dark Crystal. I showed them like The Never-Ending Story. And I remember my oldest son, who's, 26 now, he was like, The Never-Ending Story is the gayest movie I have ever watched. And he was like 13 when he said it. He looked at me and was like, why are you making me watch this dumbass shit? And I was like,
God,
my bad, dude. He was
I'll
like,
be honest with you, man, when I was younger.
This is what he said to me. He goes, that kid is definitely fucking that dog. That's what he said.
I'm pointing out, I didn't like Iron Man when I first watched it, only because I was in a bad mood. I rewatched it when I bought it on DVD. I was like, this movie's fucking fire. What was wrong with me? I literally questioned my existence.
Iron Man's a fun movie. Yeah.
That's why I always tell people, because I use that example all the time, because Iron Man it's a great movie. It's very good, actually. I just didn't like it initially up front because I thought I was just in a bad mood. That's why I say, if you're gonna watch a movie, even if you're going out to a theater, make sure you're in a good mood. That way, it wasn't your mood that affected you when you watched a movie. Because a lot of people, they're literally getting off of work, taking their kids to the theater, so I don't know if they're tired when watching a movie or anything. So that could obviously affect the outlook on a movie too. Right. Being in like a right state of mind is a very good thing. Yes, Eternals is the worst MCU movie by far. There's nothing worse than that. If they came out with a movie objectively worse than that, I would have to be like, Marvel, you might want to take a few years break after Secret Wars. It's okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was bad.
They haven't announced anything after Secret Wars. It was crazy. No MCU movies have been talked about.
Didn't they push back the Doomsday thing or the Doom?
No, Doomsday's 2026. That's the only movie.
I thought they pushed it back.
And then they have 2027 Secret Wars.
Right.
After Secret Wars, the only movie that they talked about is the X-Men movie. So that
they have to, if they're gonna follow Secret Wars as their soft reboot, because it has to happen because of the incursions. It's gonna have to happen.
Do you think they're gonna use Jonathan Hickman's version or the version?
100%. 100%. They're gonna, yeah, because it makes more sense to do that if they're having Dr. Doom. It makes more sense. You know what I mean? Because then if you bring, the only thing that I don't think they're going to do, if they bring the Beyonder, not the Beyonders, but the Beyonder into it, then yes, you could easily do it. But if they bring the Beyonders in from his Avengers run, and then that's how Doom gets to be
One
where
world
he is.
Under Doom. That's
right.
The new comic series they're doing where Doom became Sorcerer Supreme.
Which is fine. And I think that's better since they kind of used in Endgame, they used, the Thanos's, the Black Order. Those are Hickman characters. So, I mean, it makes sense that they would continue to use his shit. It makes sense for them. I hope people argue with me all the time about the 84 Secret Wars. And I keep trying to tell them, like, look, dude, the only reason why that comic existed is because it was literally for toys. That shit, if you read it now, it's rose tinted glass.
I remember there was 2 Secret War events. I know Jonathan Hickman's, and you have the original 12-issue series.
But there's also Secret Wars 2.
Yeah, there's Secret Wars 2015, Secret Wars 2, and the original Secret. God damn! Wait, wouldn't this be Secret Wars 3? Marvel? Oh my. Okay, it's okay.
They did it as Secret Wars because that was like, remember we talked about the reboot?
What's up, Gooch?
That was their soft reboot for Marvel.
A lot of people do like Jonathan Hickman's version. I will say it's very, very light.
I loved it because it tied together. It tied together
the setup. Oh no,
it tied together. No, it wasn't set up because it came from his Avengers run.
Okay,
it came out of his Avengers and Fantastic Four run. that stuff all connects together, and it's fantastic. I think it's one of the best. It's one of the few times that I read the Avengers books and I was like, wow, I actually like this.
All right. Let's get into Absolute Batman, and then we're gonna talk about the verses. It's gonna be a nerd war. No, I don't have a special effect for that. I was just being dramatic for effect. Wait.
Dun dun dun.
Exactly. I am a fucking genius.
Oh, there's no argument here.
I'm like Shikamaru from Naruto, 200 IQ up here. I'm thinking 3 moves ahead right now.
Don't get me with your shadows.
God, you know, man, I'm thinking so far ahead. I can already see tomorrow happening. Wait a minute.
It better be
that much in the
much
future.
much different from today. I'm assuming.
All right. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a comic book review on Absolute Batman #1. So if you guys have not had a chance to check out our DC All-In #1 special comic book review, I would highly recommend you guys go and check out that video, because in that video, we go over how we basically got here to this point where DC is now in its phase where it can, oh my goodness, wait a minute.
Oh my goodness.
Take 2.
You're going to do it all over again.
Nope. Okay. Someone was looking at my neighbor's car. I thought it was.
What does that have to do with anything?
He was staring at it.
Batman.
Did he go? This is a Mexican right there. Oh,
Batman.
okay. Yeah. Jorge Jimenez. Jorge. I'm kidding. All right. Jokes aside, take 2. We don't do no more than 2 takes. That's how it works. All right. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a comic book review on Absolute Batman #1. So if you guys have not had a chance to check out our DC All-In #1 special comic book review, I would highly recommend you guys go and check out that video, because that is a video where we basically detail how we got to this point with the Absolute Universe. So for those of you who don't know, DC Comics has always tried to have their own Marvel Comics' Ultimate Universe, and it finally happened after so many attempts. You guys remember DC's Future State, you remember Earth 1, and then basically DC were trying to start something like that, but then, you know, sales for those books kind of essentially plummeted, and they were like, you know what, fuck this. But that all changed come 2024, where you started hearing rumors that they were going to start up their own Ultimate Universe. And after the DC All-In #1 special came out, where the universe got set up in the second part of that comic book, we are finally here. Now, the only disappointment that we talked about in the DC All-In #1 special comic book review was the fact that the book was advertised to have previews of Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman in it, and just being honest here, it did not. It was completely just lie. It was a complete lie of marketing. That was it. You know, it did, like what I would say, the Jonathan Hickman effect. It did all the setup, but it just never had the payoff. That now you have all the payoff here with Absolute Batman and Absolute Wonder Woman and Absolute Superman. So you guys have been asking my opinion about Absolute Batman for quite some time, and I tell you guys this all the time. I never give you my opinion on anything unless I've actually read it or watched it. That goes for any movie, comic book, manga, video game, TV show, anime. If I have not consumed it, you are not getting an opinion out of me, because I would just be talking out of my ass. And I'll talk out of my ass. I'm a fucking genius and I have a 200 IQ. So this essentially got a little bit of criticism, not because of the actual story itself, because the book actually sold very, very well. Word of mouth actually made it grow in sales over time. A lot of people kept talking about they inserted a lot of race swaps here. Now, keep in mind, as you guys know, I do not like race swaps. I think they're terrible. I don't like gender swaps, actually. I think you should just keep things across the board the same. That way, no bullshit arguments start, right? Keep in mind, this is a alternate universe. Nothing in the actual main timeline is swapped at all. So this is literally just a completely different universe. So I would say, does anyone out that said that to you, it doesn't really matter. The reason why there'll be an issue is like, okay, let's say I'm reading a Batman comic now from like Batman and Robin or the main Batman book written by Chip Zdarsky, or you have like the other Batman books out there. If they like swapped Jim Gordon to be black, okay, I have an issue with that because that's the main timeline. It's not what that character looks like. But here it doesn't matter. It's an alternate universe. It really does not matter, honestly. No. It's not like if they race swap shit in the main universe, there's a problem with that. But you're not really race swapping anything here because this is just the universe essentially starting from this. If that's what this established, that's fine. Now, if this timeline started race swapping characters later on, I'd have an issue with that because you didn't set that up initially at first. So that's essentially it. A lot of the characters in the book aren't black. It was literally just Barbara's black and Jim's black. And then they shot the black guy. So, they're not for Black Lives Matter at DC Comics, obviously. So for Absolute Batman, you have Scott Snyder and art by Nick Dragotta. Scott Snyder, as you guys know, wrote one of my favorite Batman comic stories of all time, Batman Court of Owls. I fucking love that story, man. That story is like easily in my top 10. Man, that story is so fucking good. Pays off so hard. Scott Snyder also did that America's Cardroom Vampire book a long time ago before he did Batman. I have that in Compact Comic. He's done a lot of things, honestly. So him kind of being the head of Absolute Batman makes perfect sense. I mean, he wrote a classic Batman comic book. Makes perfect sense why he should be able to write another Batman story. And he's not basically constrained to all the previous, Batman lore and shit. So I'll ask you, because you've actually did a video on this book a while ago, So how are you feeling about the book now compared to when you, originally?
I love Absolute Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I am a Batman guy,
really,
but
your omnibus is back there wouldn't say that.
But
crazy.
But I didn't have like you said, it's an ultimate universe, basically. Well, absolute universe. So I have no problem with them race swapping or anything. It doesn't, in the absolute universe, I don't care. I don't because it's fine. Like, things are going to be different anyway. If that's the case, then you should be angry that he doesn't have a giant mansion and he doesn't have all of these other things. And it's like, it didn't take away from the story from me. I was invested in the story. Mm-hmm. I was invested in what was happening. And it moved along very quick, because they have a plan. They have a plan. Mm-hmm. They have a villain. They have their arc. This is called the Zoo. Mm-hmm. And they, as you'll see, went very quickly and taken out the old hat of Gotham, of the crime bosses. They're gone, and we're going to move forward. And this is what it is, as they set up other people also.
Yeah. So a lot of people have to understand, for this version of Bruce Wayne, he's not the rich billionaire playboy philanthropist for every Batman iteration out there. For some reason, DC really doesn't like him being that. I'll be honest, it's so stupid. It's because guys, it's just they have a big issue with it. It's for no reason, but they kind of make it work pretty well here that he's not super rich, but he's still very much the Bruce Wayne that you know and love. He's still very smart. He's still very able to put on a persona that Bruce Wayne is this and Batman is this. They still show some really great aspects to him. Just be honest here, I don't know why that he doesn't need to be rich. It's not like it takes away from the story. It's not like it takes away from the Bruce Wayne character. It's still a very interesting Bruce Wayne version of the character. It's just I've just noticed that recently is that they have an issue with him being a rich white guy. But keep in mind, given how their politics have worked for DC, they don't really like rich billionaires.
No, dude, they virtue signal like motherfuckers, dude. And they do. DC is always the first. If anything goes on in the world, DC is always the first of the comic book people to be like, oh, we gotta scramble. He's white, he can't be rich. Fucking bankrupt him. Now the Joker's got to steal all his money and waste it all. Hurry up.
Good gosh, man. Oh, the other thing I want to talk about is the symbol that's right there. So that symbol right there, I'll be honest, you're probably never going to get me to like that. It just looks really ugly. It just looks
I have no problem with it. I have zero problem because of the way that he uses it. and what it's there for also, but as just a symbol, yes, it is very chunky and wonky, but this is also a very chunky Batman.
This
He is
Batman is
huge.
huge.
He
Yeah,
is jacked.
like the usual Batman is kind of big, but he's
Big.
really
He's a big guy.
athletic.
Yes.
But this Batman is just very, very big. Also, for this, I know a lot of people have always wanted Batman to kill. You know, I have been always very much against that because I think that just goes against the very foundational aspects of the character. If you're asking me, they even knew that too originally from DC Comics because he originally carried a gun. As people say that's true, he did carry a gun. They actually replaced that very, very early on to his run. That's why when you hear of Batman, he's not carrying a gun or killing people because, well, they kind of stopped that long time ago.
It's a lot longer than people think.
I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, it could be, it was after, what's the ages? Silver, it was after Silver Age, right?
Well, it was in the Silver Age,
Okay.
but through the whole Golden Age from like 30, was it 1939?
Something like that, yeah.
From Detective Comics number 27, his first appearance, for quite some time he carried a gun. And even whenever he didn't carry a gun, he still killed.
It was still like the more modern versions you guys know of, you know, he has the like no kill rule. I think the no kill rule is fine. But if you're gonna start that off here, I think that's a cool thing Scott Snyder noticed was that people have been saying, hey, I want Batman to kill because why doesn't he kill very, very bad people that objectively aren't gonna fix themselves? Well, you get that leeway in a universe like this. This is just starting out. So if he already starts out killing or being much more brutal,
he's much more brutal. I've yet to see him kill anybody. But
he did throw some knives at some necks.
But if you remember what Alfred said when it happened, that he missed all the vital thing, and he was actually pissed at him. He was like, "Oh, god damn it!"
I will say this though. This book, I don't know if it was trying to be intentionally funny. I was kind of laughing a little bit. I was like, wait a minute, Alfred. This man threw a knife at someone's neck because he missed an artery. That's great, but that person is bleeding out on the floor. I don't know if that person cares if they missed an artery. That's like death in and of itself. But we'll see. I like that he was the essentially he basically is Batman and Punisher. If you're talking about just one character together, which is fine. So
and we get the narration through Alfred, which I thought was cool.
Alfred looked like Ra's al Ghul. I don't know if anyone picked
that up. He totally did. With the multicolored mustache beard. Yes.
Why does my Alfred look like Ra's? What in the world?
I think they're going off of like if he never became a butler and he still stayed in the military type thing. So I mean, it's believable.
Yeah.
For what they were going for.
Dude, can I ask you this? Okay, I know the MCU made like post-credit scenes for movies much more popular than they already were. Guys, in comic books, I don't. Good Lord, why are we doing these things? In a little bit,
I can tell you why.
I mean, it's fine to have epilogues, but
I can tell you. I can tell you specifically why they did that. Because they want you to know that this is going to last longer than one arc.
Okay.
That is why they're setting up another major villain for after this arc.
One-page backup stories. I love them.
It was enough.
That's true. Yeah.
It was definitely enough because they set it up throughout the book. If you remember, like Alfred talks about getting taken off this case that he was on for 4 years and had to come to Gotham.
I will say this version of Batman.
Hey.
No, I was saying this version of Batman, when he was actually fighting, was great. It was very, very efficient. For someone that doesn't have the billions of dollars to get more higher tech, as you say, it was very efficient. That's what I like too, is that even though Scott Snyder, I'll be honest with you, that was probably an editorial decision to take away his billions. I was like, Scott Snyder still did a very good job of like making him out to be Bruce that you remember. He's still very smart. Like I said earlier, he's still very cunning. He's still able to balance out the personas very well. He's got the part of him that still knows how to basically just efficiently fight. He does have one piece that's not normal, that's big, which is the parent aspect. So in the parent aspect, his dad is dead. Alfred didn't know that, but Alfred said he was alive, which we know later on he's not alive. His mom's alive in this version of Batman. And this Gotham, how many years happened in this universe since the All-In special? Because if you look at the scope of Gotham from this book, it's really all formed out.
Well, okay, so you got to think of it like this.
They said it was 4 years.
But you have to think of it like this. That universe always existed. We just didn't get to see it until that
Oh, okay.
rift in time. So it probably had always existed. So they have
Okay.
their own like, history. It's not like they started off and there was adults and children, like
Mhm.
they priority always existed. We just didn't know about it until that happened from the All In special. That's my take on it.
Yeah, that's what I assumed because they said this is a 4-year period where like after Bruce became an adult, he was doing really well, fell down, went to
Right.
jail, came back, did it all again. I was like, okay, it's a nice, cool timeline we're establishing here. But yeah, anything else you wanted to say about your overall observation of the book before we go into the
No,
story?
I liked it. I thought it was fun.
It was good.
It was different.
Yeah.
It was different
Yeah.
enough, and it set up a story that I was willing to latch onto.
It's
Because
not even.
it used the right characters, in my opinion, to
Yeah.
set it up. And I'm glad that, like, right off the bat, yes, at the end they do set up the main, one of the biggest
Of course.
villain of all time. But I'm glad that it didn't start off with him, because, like, my God.
Yeah.
And who knows? Who knows if we're gonna see him in the next arc? It could have just been like saying, "Hey, this is coming at some point in time."
So I don't know if Scott Snyder said this. I'm pretty sure he did. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's right here in the first part of the book. I can't read. I'm black, guys. Seeing them was right. This is part 1 of 5. So there's the first issue. The first arc is 5 issues, which is fine. Absolute Batman the trade paperback, which is volume 1 coming out later on this year. That's going to be around August. So
August.
at the time of us doing Absolute Batman #1, this comic book review, it's already on issue 5. So
is issue 5 out, or is that coming out?
Issue 5 is out currently right now.
Oh, is it?
So
okay.
When March is issue 6. So yeah, there'll be a lot of time of a gap between the first trade that has come out. So, all right. So the book starts off with an interesting nod right here, as you guys can see. So this right here is going to be a nod to something later on. So Bruce is a little kid on this field trip at the Gotham City Zoo. Then you get this part right here, Absolute Batman the Zoo arc, part 1 of 5. And there's the gun right there, the whole dreaded gun that is, always made Martha Wayne's pearls drop. Damn gun.
That fucking gun, dude. It's been the bane of his existence for so long. And it's a snatched pearls moment. Broken pearls everywhere.
And then the book is narrated, so very similar to Wolverine Deep Cut issue #1, written by Chris Claremont. The book is narrated by Alfred, and this version of Alfred, I shit you not, looks like Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul. That's Alfred right there. That's what he looks like, and he's certainly someone that would work at a liquor store who would serve you up some liquor. Just pointing out there. So he's basically called to Gotham because he heard about a mysterious vigilante of some sorts doing some things. Actually,
well, he got taken off of a case that he had been working on for 4 years, and he's going to Gotham because he's had experience in Gotham before. And there's this group that has been doing some shit that he is supposed to recon, called the Party Animals. Also, on top of the Party Animals, there is another player that he is allowed to engage with, but they don't know much about him, and that is the Batman.
And throughout the book, he's doing his research on him. He's investigating him. He's basically following him throughout the entire book. He's tracking all of his movement. He somehow managed to figure out everything Bruce had ever done in his entire life, from when he was a kid versus when he had his low point, then he has high point. You see initially him training, he's at this point gonna be training, and you finally see him on this part of the book. Oh my god, the guy is huge. That man basically knocked down that fucking those things you punch in the gym. Punching bag.
And it's cool that like they turned some of the villains into like his group of friends. Like that's actually,
Killer Croc needed to have some buddies.
Right. That's Waylon. And I thought it was cool that, it's Croc's gym, which fits. And his little group of friends that we'll find out here are other villains from the regular universe.
So my favorite part of the book actually was, well, one of my favorite parts of the book was when you had this business meeting. And you guys know how these business meetings go with villains. So as you said, the party animals, right?
Yes.
Yes. So they have a meeting with what I assume of this universe is the Falcone and Maroni of this universe, right?
Yes.
And then they're talking to them, and then they get kind of mad at the music that they're playing. They ask them to turn it down. You know, that kind of made them mad when they asked them to do that. And then there's this is honestly really good right here, where they basically set up them talking to distract them, like, hey, we killed this person, we killed that person, and we're fucking really dangerous. And then they say, we kind of killed your cousin and your brother. And they're like, what? And then I'll be honest, that was very, very cool.
So
really enjoyed that.
My opinion is it is Black Mask. That's my opinion.
That's what I thought
Black
too.
Mask.
Yeah.
And so they're all sitting there, and the Maronis and Falcones are like, you know, you got to get the hell out of here. Your party animals are ridiculous. And he's like, and we have history in this city. We've been running this thing for like 100 years.
Yeah.
And Black Mask, he's like, some woman comes out, like, show him the masks. And he's like, oh, check this out. He's like, I got these death masks. This is Martin Luther, and this is Socrates, and this is this.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, and by the way, Mr. Maroney, this is your cousin, and this is your brother. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
And then
they're freaked out. They're like freaked out, and then one of the goons stabs one of them with 2 knives to the eye socket. It's like, it's just, oh god, this book did not pull on the gruesomeness. It was definitely there. I don't know if your 13-year-old kid could read this without getting freaked out, but
and then he's like, please turn the music back up. I think his name is Mr. Benjamin, his personal DJ. It's like, please turn the music back up, Mr. Benjamin, so we can dance with our dead gangsters.
As you guys know, basically this gang has been basically terrorizing Gotham for a very, very long time. The news at this point is basically praying for your safety, because that's going to do very, very much for,
because they're killing anybody. They don't care.
Yeah.
They're killing old people. They torch a school with kids in it and watch them burn. They're just chaos. Like kind of like the scene from The Dark Knight where Alfred's talking to Batman. Some people just want to watch the world burn. Well, this is the people that want to watch the world burn.
Yeah. And then it gets so bad to the point where they have a meeting in City Hall. And then a lot of the people are very, very mad that Jim Gordon, hasn't really, or essentially this police precinct hasn't done anything about the party animals, actually. Here you go. Black Jim. There you go. Black. Not my dad, because my dad's white, And then guess who breaks the party? Pun intended. Party animals obviously crash the meeting. They actually shoot Gordon. I don't know if he's dead. I'm pretty sure they didn't straight up kill him off and issue.
No, he's not dead. He's not.
Yeah. And then Barbara's there. She has like a few lines where she's just, freaking out and scared because her dad just got shot. Batman finally appears in the book. He actually appears right there. They try shooting him down. He comes out like that.
Yeah. He tells Barbara, she opens this door where they're in, and he's like, whatever you hear, do not open this door. And then they start fighting, and it's pretty freaking cool, man. The fights in this are great.
I was going to say, when he pulled out the axe, I was like, okay, this man is serious. This guy's like pulling out a meat cleaver. One of the party animals came and pulled out a meat cleaver, and he was like, I can take you down. He's like, all right, cool. He just slit his whole hand off. Yeah, he's like, you know what? There's a hospital kind of somewhere around here. I don't really know. Maybe I forgot. What a piece of shit. What an asshole.
He's like, Alfred's watching him from the scope because he's supposed to be watching the party animals and not engaging. And he's telling him that, he's watching him through a scope. And this big dude, he takes out all these people, Batman does. And then this big guy comes and he's like, this knife right here has killed more people than you know what to do with. And Batman's like, oh, really? And he pulls out this handle and just to his chest, just clink, and then he pulls it off, and he's like, let's do this. And he just cuts his hand off. I was like, what?
God, man.
And he does tell him, like, I heard they can reattach those. There's a hospital down there if you might want to go.
Because as you said earlier within the story, Alfred came to Gotham on the mission that he was told to disengage from. Then the artificial intelligence that Alfred had been talking to the entire book basically said if you see this person you're here to capture or take down, you can actually engage on that guy.
You're free to capture or take down the they call them like the other party, which is Batman.
And
but
then
not the party animals.
Alfred tries to take down Bruce. It's weird having them have this dynamic. He doesn't have a butler in this dynamic. Like he doesn't. Because I remember the tagline for a lot of the absolute titles for Wonder Woman and Superman and Batman were this is basically them stripped away of all the normal stuff you see them get for a lot of their continuities. So what?
I said right.
Hello? Are you my dad? All right. So Alfred then monologues more about he's just basically circle jerking Bruce about how smart he is, how great he is, how buff and athletic he is, which is obviously myself too. I kind of see myself a lot in this absolute Batman character being rich and successful and good looking and very smart. 200 IQ really does come out of me most of the time. But outside of that,
that's what comes out of you.
Yep. Outside of the jerking off that Alfred gives to Bruce to basically like hype him up. Hey, he's not a billionaire, but he's still very, very dangerous. You do get to see what happens. So essentially, the backstory of his dad was they're at this field trip, like we said earlier in the review, and a school shooter or a mass shooter came, and then the dad locked the kids in the room and tried to take the guy out, and he ended up dying. So his dad in this universe died to a mass shooter. Is essentially what ended up happening. Or what would you call that?
He was just a psycho guy that unleashed on a bunch of people at a zoo. So,
of course, it was
like
a white person.
Shooter.
What is with white people being mass murdered? Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
It's like I think it's just they get so frustrated with their privileged lives, and they just gotta start taking multiple people out. It's just
they get so bored. They just
crazy white people, man.
So basically, Alfred monologues more about how basically Bruce has kind of mastered everything he does in order. So this Batman, though like the book is advertised as Batman stripped of everything, they didn't really strip Bruce of everything. He still has essentially his mom. He still has his smarts. He's still very, very active about how Gotham is as an outlook. He right here he even says, hey, this guy knows everything about every inch of Gotham and how to get to it. You know?
I think it's more that he's stripped of his money, and he's kind of like it's the opposite, where the regular Batman has like all these sentimental attachments. We know that he's had problems since his dad died, but he still has his mother. He does have friends that he's like put off to the side, like and he's basically in it for himself, as where the original Batman was in it to stop people from what happened to his parents, to stop that from happening to other families. And this is more like he's just in it to fucking fuck shit up. That's what it seems like. And I'm sure he has that morality of they hit on, he ever since he was little, like he had an obsession with bats. And before they went on the field trip, how he got to get on a field trip is he's a genius. Like he made this bridge that can be used in war areas and stuff. It's a collapsible bridge, and it's in the shape of a bat. And he actually, whenever his dad tries to save them, he locks them or shuts the door in the bat area of everything. So they're hitting on all of these like, bat things, but they're not hitting on the reasoning of it. Like you said, like he has all these jobs. Like he goes and he works for the electric company so he can learn about everything electrical in Gotham. He works for a construction company. He even interns down at City Hall so he can learn the law. He does all of these things so he can better do his crusade, basically.
Yeah. So then Alfred finally does manage to track him down. And earlier in the book, when the first time they had interacted, Alfred's monologuing about how great this gun is. Batman kicks it out of his arms and then eventually takes it for himself.
Yep.
And then Alfred comes back with a vengeance, or he's a little bit more prepared this time. Then Batman points the gun to him and he's like, you wouldn't kill anyone. And he just shoots him.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't technically kill him.
No, but it shoots him in the face with a bunch of batarangs. Like these little like what the like what? I modded your shotgun.
Not playing around. And then the man takes his motorcycle. The white man took the black man's stuff. That's how I know I like this book already. White men taking what the black man already earned. Hell yeah. Fucking hell, man. And then the book ends with basically, well, at least this first issue ends with Alfred monologuing, saying, and I think to myself, maybe you're not so bad these days, Gotham.
Yes.
Then there you go. That was the end image. So essentially, he got the motorcycle. Yeah, that is a great art piece right there.
There's some really good like pictures of like the one in the moon, this one right here.
Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah,
there's a lot of really good silhouette pictures of Batman.
And then you get to that end credit scene because every comic book has to do this now.
These ones, like those are fantastic.
Those are great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we get to that end credit scene, and basically, long story short, Alfred is talking with his, what would you call it? The people behind the AI that he was talking to the whole book, or is it not them?
Yeah, I believe so that he's talking about. I think he's talking to someone in particular this time because they basically tell him like, hey, you're the mission, the person that we basically had that we took you off, we lost him. We lost this person.
Oh, okay.
So they're like, and he's like basically 4 years down the drain. He's like, fuck. And then it cuts to these pilots.
What they say, Henry Ducard. Well, that's from the Christopher Nolan movie. Henry Ducard's not to my knowledge, is not a character from the Batman comic books, unless I'm wrong about that. Henry Ducard is the name that Ra's al Ghul uses in Batman Begins, actually. And he was, that was portrayed by Liam Neeson. But from what I remember, Henry Ducard's not a Batman comic character, unless I'm wrong.
No, he's Henry Ducard. Yeah, he was definitely a comic book character in the 80s, for sure.
Okay.
So they just probably had Race use that name, unless it's...
that was the alias they had Race use in Batman.
Okay, so it makes more sense for this. Okay, so he was in Interpol. So his first appearance was Detective Comics number 599 in 1989. So created by Sam Hamm and Dennis Cowan. He was in Interpol, but it was portrayed like by Liam Neeson in the movie. So like that he used that as an alias, but it says Henry Ducard was one of the teachers of Bruce Wayne before he became the Batman. He is often credited in teaching him both detective and investigation skills. So that's the one that trained him in that. So in the 80s, like whenever they were changing all sorts of stuff, I have not read those yet. I have them, but I have not gotten to there yet. I'm only in the Bronze Age. I'm in the Jim Aparo, Jim Starlin era.
So he lost his original target that he was tracking for 4 years. And then basically, long story short, because it's just, more set up, they basically set up the Joker. I'm pretty sure you guys knew that was coming. It's Batman. Joker's just always going to be a part of Batman's mythos in any version of Batman ever. So the Joker is right there. They say the Joker doesn't he doesn't talk or anything. He doesn't laugh. He doesn't laugh. Yeah. So this is the Joker that doesn't laugh. That's interesting. If Joker doesn't laugh, which is a pretty big trademark of that character, how is this Joker going to be a little bit different? So we'll see how it goes later on.
It's going to be that he's the rich guy. He's the
billionaire. Yeah.
And it's going to be like he's the guy that it does psychotic stuff, but leads like an international man of mystery, basically.
Yeah. Well, then you have this weird thing at the end of the book where it's Harley Quinn, Apocalypse War. You play the DC Universe Online. I'll be honest here. The DC Universe Online is still around. Wow,
that's insane to me that it's still around.
I quit playing that ages ago.
Yeah, it was so popular whenever it first came out. It was fun. It was different.
Yeah. The fact that it's still around, who's still playing that? But
still around.
Nevertheless, I thought this was pretty good. It was pretty solid overall. I really enjoyed it. There's not really much else here because there was a lot of setup. They laid the groundwork for everything. It wasn't boring. I mean, it was definitely, I would say this. What's the best word of saying? It was definitely exciting and intriguing reading this over like a lot of other issue ones that I've had in the past where it's just kind of boring. It just slogs through at the time. But no, this was paced very well. It was definitely in a vein of, I would say, the Michael Bay Transformers movies and like the ones that people liked. The first one where it's like it's fucking wild and crazy, but you're having a good time with it. You
There
know?
was enough action interspersed in with the story that I didn't mind reading the story pages. Like whenever, because you read a lot of story before there's action, and then the action takes off. It's not just like 1 or 2 pages at a time. It's like 5, 6, 7, 8 pages. Then it goes back to this. Then we get more action, and it ended very well, I thought, because they got everything they needed to say. We know what his deal is, and we know Alfred is in opposition, who's probably going to end up being, on his side. So
So I guess later on, as this absolute Batman character gets more and more issues under his belt, there's a lot of things not here. So Gordon is not his ally yet. Barbara knows of Batman right now. He doesn't have Alfred as an ally, you should say. Robin's not here yet, or you say Dick Grayson's not established yet. There's actually a lot they can play with here. There's quite the bit here that they could go for. Harley Quinn's not here yet. A lot of interesting, great characters in the Batman, mythos and continuity that they could definitely draw from. This Batman is brutal and absolutely insane when he's Batman, and I'm all here for it, And it's, this is an alternate universe, so nothing has to do with the main universe. I'm totally fine with it. It's a different take on the character. And Scott Snyder definitely used that to his ability. He made sure Batman is batshit crazy, pun intended, when he was definitely hurting people. Good Lord. The part where he just sliced that guy's hand off. That was
fantastic.
He deserved. These guys deserve it. Like I'm saying, these people, this gang is absolutely, these are straight up murdering bad people. All of them should have their heads rolling if we're just being honest about that.
100%. 100%. I mean, they kill children and the elderly, and they're cool with it. So I am perfectly fine with the execution of any of these idiots. So I thought it was good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I'll just get your final thoughts and opinions of Absolute Batman #1. We'll be doing Absolute Batman #2, probably coming up this Friday, so we can just get all of Absolute Batman done. Then after that, we'll do all of Absolute Wonder Woman, and then we'll do all of Absolute Superman. Or maybe we might alternate between them back and forth, because I like having different girls some nights. One night, I like having maybe a Mexican, another night a white girl, then another night an egg roll.
Sure. Yeah.
No, I thought you were
fine
fun.
with me. I mean, I people look at me and I just scream fun. That's what you look at me and you're like, wow, that guy, he's fun.
That guy right there knows how to have fun.
That's right. But no, I enjoyed it. I definitely thought that it did what it needed to do. Where it goes from here, it's, as long as it's entertaining, and when they finally do cross over with our main heroes, the story needs to be interesting. There has to be a reason.
Yeah.
And I hope that it doesn't start dropping off and then DC rushes that story like they always do. And it makes no sense. I'm hoping that it leads to something. Like these three people, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, meet up in this universe, and Darkseid is a threat. And I hope that's what happens. So like whenever our heroes start looking for Darkseid and they either go to this universe or whatever, that needs to happen. Because we all still have to find Booster Gold, though. Where's Booster?
No, I remember you said in the All-In special review, time got winded back. So he should be in the main continuity?
No. He's still there. But for the he was already there. When the main continuity got winded back, they didn't know where Booster is.
You're right.
It was like after. Yes, it happened for them right before Booster went in. So he's still there. They just don't know it.
So
they're
for me,
gonna have no memory of that.
My final thoughts and opinions on Absolute Batman #1. It was good overall. I mean, I can't really say I didn't enjoy it. I think it just got better as the book went on. DC is really in their phase of like, gosh, Michael Bay's their gold standard for making books now. It's definitely interesting. It was definitely fun. The only thing I don't like reading sometimes is books that just bore the living shit out of me. I gotta have some action. There gotta be some explosions there. But
this was not boring.
Yeah, it was very, very good. It was nice. Now later on after this video, we'll talk about the other thing, but I think this was a nice setup here. I think this is going to be a title that's going to sell very well for a while. Now, it just depends on how are they going to basically make sure this Bruce Wayne from this universe has staying power, because this is the first time this has ever actually hit a Bruce Wayne that people could basically, if you're a Batman fan, you could literally read this without any prior knowledge of Batman whatsoever, and you're fine. Literally, if you just pick this up and read it, you're completely fine. This is, and I'll say this too, if you want to get into Batman right now, but this would be a weird version to get into, you can get Absolute Batman #1 and just start there. It's only in issue 5 right now. The first trade with the first 5 issues collected is coming out later on in August. So you could essentially get all the issues right now as they're coming out, and then you could, keep up as they release monthly. So yeah, overall, happy to see what Scott Snyder can do with the other 2 issues, with the other issues that we will review later on. So thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're going to sign out, guys. See you guys later. Deuces. Peace. That's not true. I have 9 inches. That's literally not true at all. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to be setting up the other topic really quickly right now because, as you guys know, I am a freaking genius. Don't you have some flappies?
She says, oh, wow. He said MSK has a small PP.
No.
And you said you have 9 inches.
Yes. That would not be small.
She said millimeters is not inches.
Good Lord, man. I can't stand women. She said she wanted me inside of her. I have DMs. Oh, God. 1 second here.
I don't have DMs.
Me neither. I'm just lying because I'm fucking just crazy and a lunatic.
So, chat, how's everybody doing on this
almost done
extraordinary night? Y'all there and good, live and well? That's good.
Let's see. I think I had it right. I think I had that one I'm gonna be covering. Let's do it. Ultimate. Yeah, I think we'll just use this one. This one's fine because I can just go over every single point in this one article, even though it might not have the other prior context to it, because I'm a genius, because I can remember all this stuff, guys. I'm literally that smart. Do you guys believe me?
No.
Found it. I found the real one. Okay, so I think this is the real one.
Are you finding a bunch of fake ones?
I wish. Holy crap. This one probably is the one I'll use. It's a lot more better. It'll, No, this is the wrong one. Actually, we'll use... Hold on. That one we'll use for another... That's hard. It's hard. Shit. That one is coming from that.
Gamer Chick's working on a book. That's cool.
Yeah. She's been working on it for a while.
That's still awesome, though. I don't have the smarts or the talent.
I can't write a book. I thought I was, but I just don't have the time, and I just don't really want to put in the effort of doing it because I have too much on my plate. Maybe at some point when I don't have as much on my plate, I'll do it when we're pretty much like really, really solidified and caught up with a lot of things that I want to do. But I have a lot more goals right now initially up front I want to accomplish before I ever do that. I probably won't do it. I don't know. I like reading and reviewing and critiquing people's work. That's the kind of fan I am. I'll criticize you, but not make my own. That's how it should work. January 18th. This is 2024. Okay. Let's. You know what? I can pretty much play with both of them. We'll use this one because it's more sufficient, honestly. Okay. Because you know what? The genius in me is by far and away amazing. All right. Who's going to be posting quantity on YouTube if you're too busy writing? That's true.
He didn't say quality.
Yeah.
He said quantity.
Hell yeah. That's what I need. Oh, I got to put Absolute Batman up. This is another comic book that I read that I'll be putting in my pile of books that I'm going to put in the top 10. There you go. It's in that over there. She said she was going to make me the main character of one of her books where, you know, I get to have all the ladies at my disposal. And she basically can write about me having sex with, you know, those ladies in her book, you know. But lady, you are weird. Just letting you know that you are pretty weird. Just letting you know that. So your pre-worn laps. She said it has a guy on guy action with MSK. That's why I bought it. You people are weird. You all need like help.
I like you, chat.
Need...
I'm behind you,
Lord.
100%.
I'm pretty sure the guy character in her book was behind another guy, but that's just wake him in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. All right, I sent James a message to install your PC. He can come over anytime he wants to do it. I'm literally ready. I have all my passwords written down. I have everything ready to go. I'm literally ready. Did he do it? Did he plug you? Okay, that he's asking something gay. That's really, really gay, honestly. All right, so we're going to do Ultimate Spider-Man, Absolute Batman right now. And then that's the last topic for this show. And then after this, I'm going to go do a one-on-one with Joe Sontag. We're going to have a long-form conversation about a bunch of stuff. So it's definitely going to be a crazy night for me. After that, I'll probably just chill back and upload some more content on my Combo channel. Combo channel hitting almost 150 subscribers. So thank you guys so much. I know you guys like it. The reason why you might not see a video almost every day is because I have to take time to actually edit out the content from the shows we do. I have to download the episodes, put it in the editor, clip all of it out, put the intro and outro on it, render it, upload it, thumbnail, tags, description.
Now, when you have your conversation later tonight, will you do 7,000 intros?
No.
Oh, so it's only for me.
I do it for Sci-Fax too. It's only for the white people, actually.
Oh, I see how it is. I see. You just see white people. You're just like, abuse.
I just gotta make sure you guys pay for your white privilege. We'll enjoy laps while you're here for the next 10 months before you move on from MSK like everyone else. Lies. I've never moved on from anyone. They've just chosen to leave me. You know,
that's what they're saying.
Oh,
they're saying I would move on from you.
Wait. I have all the clout. I have the knowledge, clout, intellect, the connections. I got all the connections around. I'm cool with like everyone. They know my name. If it's uttered, they're like, he's a legend in these spaces.
Well, I mean, I think it's, more of the comprehension of the reading of the comments.
True.
I did say there's this hurdle. You did. You definitely did.
He tricked me with that.
How? It's a word. It doesn't change.
I literally read it as like the great dinosaur. He tricked me, guys. Oh my goodness.
He put those confounded, multi-syllabled words in front of you, and you were just like, fuck. I don't know what to do. It's got more than 3 and 4 letters.
God, man.
4.
Gamer Chick, if we have sex and I make you have an orgasm, you will come back. See? That's how it works. Isn't that how it works for most women?
He said hyperbole. I remember.
Oh my goodness.
The hyperbole.
I meant to say hyperbolic. That's the word, right?
But we all know what the hyperbole is, though. We figured that out.
That's the second version of the Super Bowl that happens later in the year.
That's where the dinosaur of dishonor goes to use your MasterCard to buy dildos and PS5.
I think you're roasting me, sir.
I'm the one that wrote it. I wrote that. The hyperbole. That's sweet.
Oh goodness! Don't teach him how to say it. That's what I meant. I meant hyperbole like that. I don't know why you guys thought I meant it like that. I meant the hyperbole the way you think. So, all right, let's have some fun.
The hyperbole the way you.
Have you ever like basically filled a bowl with
hyperbole means?
Have you ever filled a bowl with a jar of mayonnaise and put your fist in it, thinking you were fisting a girl?
No, dude. I know what a real vagina feels like. I would
Me
never
too.
mistake those things for each other.
Oh yeah, you're right. Huh? Fuck. I never did that either.
Right.
Yes, I never put a frozen hot dog in a jar of mayonnaise and jerked it off, hoping that
I
fluid would
love
come.
where our conversations go. I I I look forward to them on
You
so
never
many
went to
different levels.
Walmart and just opened a peach like a vagina?
No.
Oh, well, it's just me. Crazy.
No. I don't go into
That's gay. Nope.
I don't go into like grocery stores or like stores.
To be fair, we should talk about the cornography industry and how much corn is coming out. All the butter they put on your corn. I
You should
love
have
the way
heard
on
before
YouTube
we
you
were
have to say,
recording.
I'm just saying, man,
Should have
I
heard.
love the way on YouTube you have to fucking censor yourself. People get to say more funnier things to get around things. I love it. I like YouTube so much, man. The cornography industry is off the freaking. They're
Yes,
going crazy.
it is a bunch of hyperbole.
All right, let's have some
Damn
fun.
YouTube.
I think I'm black. Oh, crazy. An ass does gamer chick. I have sex with women, and vaginas feel great. And if a woman kind of wants it in her back door, just dig all of her shit out of her, and then just make sure it's lubed, and then you just start going in.
Is that why you bring your own spoon on dates?
That's just disgusting. That's actually criminal. Never do that. You need to be put in jail if you do that.
That. I don't know.
One of these days, Amber Heard version 3 is going to come after MSK, and everyone is just going to laugh at her. Amber Heard was my ex. She was weird. That was my ex-girlfriend. She was fucking weird.
Dude, all you got to do is just wrap your mattress with toilet paper, and you will be fine.
All right. Speaking of toilet paper, let's print it on floppy comic paper. I am black. Kidding. Joking. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about Absolute Spider-Man versus Absolute Batman. So if you guys don't remember, back in 2024, like later into the year, about around October, early September, let's say, DC Comics actually on Twitter, it was actually linked through this website, Popverse. They had basically told Popverse that Absolute Batman #1 was the highest selling comic book of 2024. So for a lot of you guys who don't know this, comic book sales have not been actually reported in a very, very long time. And we know sales of comic books are very disingenuous because it's basically stores ordering units of comic books, not actually someone walking into a comic book shop and just ordering the book, as multiple people would have to do that, right? So when DC did that, people were like, wait, what the fuck? Because it's not happening so long. It was just so jarring. You were like, wait a minute, they don't talk about this, and it's just They put their nuts on the table like, no, we have the best-selling book of 2024. It's Absolute Batman #1. Now, I don't doubt that Absolute Batman was the #1 selling book. I mean, it's Batman. It always sells well, no matter what. It's an alternate universe. It's a #1. You can obviously get into you obviously can, like we said earlier, we can get into that book, and then you can just go from there. You don't need to have prior 80 years of knowledge of Batman to read Absolute Batman #1 to understand where it's at. It's just a clear jumping on point for people that want to just get and ground floor on a new version of the character that is very, very popular. Now, for those of you guys who don't remember, earlier in 2024, so like basically from January onwards, Absolute Spider-Man was a book where it was so hyped. I'm like literally ever since Marvel Comics Twitter made the announcement that Peter Parker was going to have a family and Jonathan Hickman was going to write, that book was so incredibly hyped. I had never seen reception that loved for anything comic related in a long time. Like
it was big.
It was very big. You had to be there for it. And it was like, did Absolute Batman outsell Ultimate Spider-Man? Because Ultimate Spider-Man, the second printing literally came so rushed because the first printing sold out so fast. All the variants sold out. The main cover sold out. Ultimate Spider-Man at this current moment in time had to be on 9 reprints, because the first time's on a reprint. It was on its 10th printing by the end of 2024. 10 printings. Currently, right now, Absolute Batman is on its 4th or 5th, give or take, right?
Yeah, I think it's the 5th. I have 3 of them. I know that.
Yeah, you even have the Noir edition, which looks fantastic, honestly. It looks great. It's one of these things where Absolute Batman, guys, wasn't hyped. There was no real... the hype came after people read it. I think... It was good.
So for DC fans, I think the hype came for DC fans when they announced who the team was. Yeah. Now, for other people buying it, it was definitely word of mouth. Like, oh, this is actually good.
It's actually pretty good. Yeah.
So go get it. I think you're right about that. So
because people didn't know that DC was going to do their Ultimate Universe, right?
No, because they keep saying it and never do it, or they do it and it just fizzles out and they don't give a shit.
Yeah. It was one of those things where they kept it a secret for so long, and then by the time they announced it at one of those Comic Cons earlier in 2024, people were like, oh, okay, it's here. But they didn't know if DC was going to be sticking with an idea, because DC's always been a company where they do an idea, sales start plummeting, and then they leave it as soon as things get bad. What's the saying? When the going gets tough, people leave. That's DC. When things start getting tough, they just get out and start rebooting everything. Fucking what's that fucking clip from The Office? Hold on, everyone, guys, calm down. No, they don't calm down. It's burned the whole building down for DC. So
yeah, if they would have had like at Comic-Con like the announcement with like some panels like or covers of books and say, hey, this is the creative team behind it. This is the creative. It would have been more, if we saw concept art. Because that's a thing, like they do this all the time, and
all we saw was that image of them together,
right? And it was like a shadowy image.
Yeah,
so like I've been around DC for longer than some people have been alive, so they do this all the time.
Yeah, we know these tricks. Once you see these tricks once, you're like, oh, okay. And like that's the thing, is it was kept for a secret so long. Ultimate Spider-Man, guys, is still a very high-selling book. Even when it has a book where it doesn't have Spider-Man in it, it's still very, very much a top seller. So that's why it was such a pissing battle between them. I'll be honest here, I think Ultimate Spider-Man sold more. Because no one really talked about Absolute Batman as much as Ultimate Spider-Man. There's no way.
I would say, unless it's like you're comparing like the first Absolute Batman, possibly. I just don't know if it had enough time to outsell.
Yeah,
because it's still selling. That's the thing. Like, even like it'll be like 11th or 12th or even though the newest.
Because Ultimate Spider-Man, like you said, it had January, February, March, April, May, June. Absolute Batman got announced in July.
And that's like Spider-Man was right there. Yeah, and Ultimate Spider-Man was still on the chart for like
and getting reprints for number ones. So
and it was still up there.
Yeah.
So they had 6 issues out, and it was still selling.
And the number 1 reprints kept coming.
So like that's it's hard to believe that they could do that in a 4-month span.
Yeah.
As opposed to or even a 3-month span.
I'll ask you this: since now we both have read them both, the first issues for both of them. Which one do you think is the overall better comic book? Absolute Batman or Ultimate Spider-Man? Number 1. Okay. That's it.
Number 1, I think Batman was a better read. It was longer. For me, I think it's like it's hard. It's
at least Absolute Batman had Batman in the book. Ultimate Spider-Man didn't have Spider-Man in the book. Yes. That was the problem.
Yes, it didn't. But it also paid off so many things that we read before, and you knew what was coming after that.
That's
and
true.
It got you excited to go, okay. And with Snyder, you know what you're getting. Like, and I'll just be honest, like, it's going to be decent, and he's going to do a lot of things. With Hickman, it's like, at some point in time that the book is going to be top tier regardless. And I know, like I said, you read the Ultimate Invasion. It wasn't the thing that you liked. But if you go and read like his Fantastic Four, his Avengers, or even his Shield run, stuff like that, his X-Men run, it's always
I forgot he did House of X. That was pretty good.
And it's always top tier, and it always ends up being really good. So people were probably able to put that aside, that there wasn't Spider-Man in it, but you get to reveal everything that led up to Iron
Yeah,
Man
but you do get
visiting
that
him.
family aspect that people have always wanted Peter to
That's
have. That's the
that's
thing.
what I
Yeah.
was gonna say. You get Hickman's not gonna be like, okay, he's down and out with Mary Jane, and they're will they, won't they, and he's you know, she's off being a supermodel and fucking, you know, yeah,
spreading them ass cheeks for all the
yeah, and
guys there.
he's you know,
He's
he's
in there
will they, won't
watching,
they
getting her cucked out.
with Black Cat and all that crap.
Hey, Black,
You're gonna,
put some respect on Black Cat's name. I
no,
love me
I'm
some
just
Bruce
saying
Hardy.
you're gonna have the story that you want with
Yeah,
the family dynamic is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
And I think having the kids old enough to interact
That's good.
is a smart decision.
Mhm.
Very smart
Yeah,
decision.
Ultimate Spider-Man feels like Superman and Lois TV show.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's nice to see
Mhm.
a version of a character exist where he has to raise the kids while also balancing the superhero life. With Absolute Batman, the best way I could describe this is it would be as if, like, fucking hell, if Batman and Invincible merged. That's what Absolute Batman felt like. It felt like an Invincible comic. Shit was just unpredictable. You didn't know where it was going to go. It was kind of basking in like the violence of it. That's the best way I could describe it.
I'd
But
say
it's good.
for me,
I like Invincible a lot myself.
it was
So.
more like it felt like early 80, like late 80s, early 90s Punisher Daredevil.
Yeah, okay.
At that pace, and he was as brutal as that, and it was straight to the point. It was straight to the point. Here's Batman. This is what he's dealing with, and this is how he reacts to situations.
What was the best-selling comic of 2024? It seems DC won with a thin margin. Also, keep in mind, guys, in 2024, not just Ultimate Spider-Man, Marvel Comics and DC launched multiple titles under their alternate universes. So you had, after Ultimate Spider-Man, because before that you had the Ultimate Invasion and the number one-shot, you had Spider-Man, Black Panther, X-Men, you have the Ultimates, and then you have Ultimate Wolverine now that's been doing very, very well. Obviously, DC had Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and then now eventually we're going to be getting Absolute Martian Manhunter, Absolute Flash, Absolute Green Lantern, Absolute Flash. I'm looking that looks very good.
I'm fine for Absolute Flash and Green Lantern.
Yeah.
They better pull something out of their ass for Martian Manhunter.
I'll be honest with you, we'll review issue 1. If that shit is trash, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, if it's garbage, I'm
waiting for the trade.
Oh man,
that Absolute Martian Manhunter looks so damn ugly.
They hate John Johns. They hate him. They have to. They hate
all those fake fans on Twitter that's like, oh no, Scott Snyder, we'll buy it. No, you won't. That looks like shit. That art looks like objective shit. It looks like trash. It looks so bad. You tell me that looks good compared to this?
Yeah.
You guys said that looked bad. That looks better than what the hell the Absolute fucking Martian Manhunter looks like. What the hell?
Yeah, and you know, the Absolute Batman has great art. You know, so does Ultimate Spider-Man though. Ultimate Spider-Man has some really, really good art.
Marco Cicchetto, very good.
And I'll say this: when I'm reading Ultimate Spider-Man, and you can just when you look through the pages of it, it does feel like you're in a different world. The way that it's like the way that the backgrounds are colored, the way that I don't know, it just feels different. I don't know. It doesn't feel like a 616 book.
Oh, forgot. Before you go, we're reading more of this. Who do you think wrote a better story, Jonathan Hickman or Scott Snyder? For at least the issue 1s. That's hard.
See, that's hard because Hickman's one of those guys that I can't. One story, like one issue, I can't judge it off of. Like I can't.
Because he's not a one issue kind of guy. That's the thing.
No, but.
I would have to say, just from a storytelling from point of view, I think Jonathan wins it on that. I think he made a much more interesting, compelling story, you know. But I feel like Scott Snyder's led into more action related stuff. But you know, I think it's, as you always say, different strokes for different folks.
Well, I mean, he definitely did a different take on the origin. You know what I mean? It was just the dad dying. We got a lot there. You know what I mean? There was a lot there. Plus, it was also 50-something pages or 40-something pages as opposed to the 24. So I think it was able to flesh it out a lot more. But I think Hickman did more with less.
Yes.
if that
The
makes sense.
numbers are in, and we now officially know the best-selling comic of 2024, and it's DC claiming the honor, edging out Marvel's top-selling title by a narrow margin. The rest of the top 50 best-selling comics of the year provide valuable insights into the trends driving sales and the reasons behind them, making this an exceptionally intriguing data set. Drum roll, please. The best-selling comic of 2024 is none other than Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta's Absolute Batman #1. This success proves that DC's all-in initiative and the launch of their Absolute Universe were the right moves for the publisher. Well, to be fair, I will say this. They had nothing else left when Dawn of DC didn't really hit the way they wanted to. There was a lot of titles in that,
yes. That
Hot Girl.
sucked.
You remember Hot
Sucked.
Girl? It was written by a true...
It was terrible.
While there were strong contenders for the top spot, it's no surprise Absolute Batman took first place. The series has been a massive hit with readers, reimagining The Dark Knight in a bold and refreshing way after 86 years in comics. This data comes from ICV2 with dollar sale rankings based on Comic Hub's point of sale tracking at stores worldwide. And we'll see where that lands. Coming in second after DC's Absolute Batman #1 for the top selling comic of 2024 is Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cicchetto's Ultimate Spider-Man #1. Following closely in sales are Absolute Superman #1, Absolute Batman #2, Absolute Wonder Woman #1. DC's Absolute titles truly shine this year, revitalizing the publisher with a momentum that has undoubtedly thrilled both readers and longtime fans. A look at the rest of the bestsellers reveals a clear trend. DC's Absolute and Marvel's Ultimate runs dominated the year, raising the critical question why. Now, the key here, there's the reason why we know DC has more staying power with theirs a little bit is because, hey, I'm going to be fair to Marvel here. Ultimate Spider-Man, great. Knocked out of the park. John Hickman, great job. Ultimate Black Panther, after issue 1, which sold very, very well, Ultimate Black Panther was very much dropping on those sale charts. Ultimate X-Men dropping on the sales charts. The Ultimates dropping on the sales charts. The only thing that kind of did well was that other one-shot special they put out, which was the Ultimate Universe 1 year in. Was a number one shot. Yeah. Like Ultimate Spider-Man is basically doing the legwork here for a lot of Marvel's Ultimate Universe.
And I think that's what I was, because the only thing that I could possibly believe, and me and you talked about this like a month ago, where the landscape had shifted to like 15% DC grabbed back in the shares. So that I could understand that, because like I've said, regardless of how popular Spider-Man is in media, it is hard when Batman has a good book out, or Superman or Wonder. It is very hard for him to compete with Batman and Superman, especially.
It also goes to show you how much of power Spider-Man has with people, where
100%. The fact that it's even up there.
The fact that he can carry a whole entire universe with Ultimate Spider-Man, it's great, honestly. And keep in mind, a lot of people have been clamoring for a good Spider-Man story since, good Lord, how long? Been a long time. Yeah.
Because, I mean, even then, Amazing Spider-Man was always up there. You know, it was always up there. But now, like, and you could see how much it dropped off because of Ultimate Spider-Man, where people are like, it's more like we've talked about since we started this. It's about the creators, man. They need good guys on the good character books. Scott Snyder goes on there, right? He's established, you know, he did the New 52 Batman. He also did the Dark Knight's Metal and Death Metal.
He did.
Yeah, and those were super popular, you know, super popular. As soon as that happened, where did the regular Batman series go? Straight down. Nobody gave a shit, you know. And I'm not saying it was a great book. It really wasn't. But Batman has that staying power, you know. And now he's got something that's actually good. So people are going to buy it in droves, because it's like, oh, Batman's cool again.
Yep. And that's the power of, just Batman and Spider-Man, is that even when they're ongoing series, the longer titles don't do as well as far as like storytelling, people are always going to buy them, because they don't want to they don't want to miss out. You know, they're like, I don't want to miss the issue where that one reveal happens. And as you guys know, that always happens to comic people. What do Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, and Absolute Superman have in common? Their alternate universe, I mean, okay. Accessibility. Yes, I guess that's true too. These titles eliminate the need for prior reading, offering fresh starts for new readers. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can literally just get those books and
You
start reading
can.
without. You can. Yeah.
You
I
can.
think there's better payoff with with Marvels if you read the prior stuff. It's better there, but
Yeah,
sure.
you definitely even though like it's a slog, you definitely need to read the Ultimate Invasion and the one shot because it makes it so much better, in
Yeah.
my opinion. The payoffs for, if you're just reading, and yeah, you could be like, okay, in this world, Peter Parker, there's no superheroes. Oh my God, what's this message from Iron Man? Okay, I see now. But then you could have seen why that needed to happen and what happened to make that happen.
Yep. One of the biggest barriers to comics is the overwhelming backstory and history, with many titles tied to hundreds of issues or past events, an obstacle that often deters potential fans. Marvel's Ultimate and DC's Absolute line solve this by providing self-contained stories that require no prior knowledge, making them perfect entry points for newcomers. This accessibility undoubtedly drove the high sales, allowing anyone to pick up these comics and drive right in. But that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
All of that is true to a certain extent, but this is the thing too. A lot of people don't understand. The reason why they get the benefit of the doubt right now is because when you essentially make a universe like this for DC and Marvel, number ones are very much one of the biggest driving number issues for sales.
Yeah,
number one.
but it also, do you think it
covers,
really brought tons of new fans, or was it fans like me who were lapsed? They were like fans before.
Collectors. I say, variant. What's the thing? The collectors that speculate on variant covers are also going to get in on it because they see all the variants that get made for the number one titles,
right? Which is fine, but like the whole argument of you don't have to know a lot of things behind the scenes to go off and read. But do you think it brought new readers, or did it bring people who had not been reading Batman for a while or had been reading Spider-Man for a while, but they were still comic book fans?
That's the thing too.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we don't have any data to tell me that you're a new reader.
It's the same thing with the movies, right? People think, because
100%.
I'm going to watch that new Superman movie, a bunch of Superman fans will just go and start reading Superman comics. It's like,
that's not going to happen.
Those conversion rates never happen. Yeah.
Right. And with today's audience, like, people want things that are a minute long. Like, they're not going to invest their time into actually reading. I have to read this thing?
Reading? Crazy.
What
it's
is
not
that?
manga. It's not Dogman. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's not webtoons. Whenever like my wife reads that, she reads them and I look and it's like, this has been clicked on 2 million times. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, good Lord.
In addition to DC beating Marvel for the best-selling comic of the year, market trends show DC gaining significant ground in the market share, according to the Q4 2024 comic store market share report from ICV2. Marvel's share dropped from 39.9% in Q3 to 33%. That's because it's only carried by Spider-Man, guys. Ultimate X-Men and Ultimate Panther consecutive issues have pretty much been
dropped
around like what? From what I always see, because I still check the numbers, in the range of 30 to 40, minimum 20. So they're doing
That's the high point is 20.
Yeah, those are the high points now for Ultimate Black Panther. That's in like issue 12 coming up. Ultimate X-Men, which is like issue 12, So it's all carried by Spider-Man. They have to, that's why they put out Ultimate Wolverine to revitalize the sales again. They have to be putting out more of these characters. Like, I guarantee you, you're going to be getting fucking hell. Insert any popular Marvel character. Ultimate could be Daredevil, it could be Ultimate Punisher, it could be any of the popular characters, and they'll boost the sales of Ultimate Doctor Strange.
Well, it reminds me of the 2099 series. It does.
Yeah.
Where Spider-Man 2099 was super popular, and they made X-Men, which was not good. Like, people didn't care about it. And then the Punisher had a great run on there, and so did Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom 2099 is fantastic.
Ultimate Doctor Doom, which could be a series they could do out of the Ultimates, but then again, he's already part of that team. So while they could do an Ultimate,
but they could break him off there. They could.
Thor could be that character. They could do that for 2. There's other characters they can do to push the sales. But the fact that Spider-Man can do it all on his own is fucking insane.
It is crazy.
Meanwhile, DC Comics experienced a nearly equivalent rise, climbing to 26.9%, suggesting that Marvel's loss became DC's gain. Overall, 2024 was a standout year for DC and solidifying its position in the comic industry. Also, that's a little disingenuous. They had to pivot to that point. because some of their books
100%.
weren't even in the top 10.
Right.
There was literally months where a book of theirs was barely hitting 15th. That's
Like
not
every
good.
when they did freaking Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, and that was so hyped, and it was so like, I think they put Williamson in a really bad spot there, because you're when you bring up, oh, this is the biggest one since regular Crisis on Infinite Earths, and and we're tying back, we're bringing everything back, and it's like, and it sucked, and it's not even Williamson's fault, like, because it's just like what you had to work with was so stupid.
That's why I think it's editorial that makes some.
We're breaking up the Justice League. Oh, that's real fucking smart. Boy, that sounds like a great idea.
Might as well replace the Justice League with the JSA or the Titans. Oh wait, they did that and no one cared.
Yeah, no one cared. What happened? The last time anybody cared about the JSA is when Johns was writing it, and it was a cult classic, and that's the thing. Like, it was
and
great.
Only Jeff Johns can do that. He can take characters like that and make them bestsellers, because a lot of other people cannot. Jeff Johns is a pretty good writer.
Yeah, it was a cult classic. Like, it wasn't like selling like fantastic, but you look at the Omnis and stuff, and they do great, because the full run is there, and you're like, oh, I can read this whole thing, and it's an awesome thing. It's just like Jeff Johns' Green Lantern. How many times do you hear people, like, when they bring up Green Lantern, it's like, you got to read the Johns run, right?
Yeah.
So it's like that, and whenever he's not there at DC writing tons of books,
see what happens. Overall, 2024 was when I was having sex with my wife. I'm joking, guys. That said, Marvel remains strong, but it will be fascinating to see if these trends continue to favor DC moving forward. That's the problem there, is, like we've talked about, when does this kind of hit the wall? Like a lot of older women hitting the wall, where at some point it will hit, where if the quality of writing for any of these absolute titles ever falls off, people are literally looking for any reason to drop these books off their pull list. I think even when that still happens, you'll still have a lot of people that'll read them, but you'll definitely see a dip in sales, because at some point, some of these are not going to be bestsellers. Like Batman will probably still be there. Superman, as you said before, stuff you've been hearing, it's
just that one issue, man. And I just, I read for it, and it got back to where, it was, but it's like, once you do that, once you take the steam away, it's like, is it hard to get back, because it happens so early, where people are like, well, in the early stages, you could kind of make mistakes. Not really when you're doing something like this, because, like I said, they have to cross over with our regular universe. So do they do it whenever it starts to fade and nobody gives a shit? Because that'll be a problem. Nobody will care by that point, right? And we've seen that the regular books aren't selling. The absolute books are, but the regular books nobody cares about, right? So either they have to do it when it's at a high point, or they're going to be DC and shit's going to start sucking. They're like, all right, we got to do it now. We have to make the event now. Yeah. It's got to happen right now. And then nobody's going to care.
Because what are they pulling now? Because the absolute universe, since we're not going to be going through a lot of them, at least it'll be my first time going through a lot of these books. Now you're at a point where everyone's just thinking, when is these characters going to cross over with the main universe? And it's like, once you blow that load eventually, what else you got?
Well, that's what I mean. So, like, how long they're kind of like pigeonholed almost into it not ending well, because we haven't even heard anything from Darkseid, and we're already, like, with the combination of all three books, we're almost 15 books in. And I understand you got to establish their universes and stuff like that, but not even like, any repercussions of the main villain being, his whole drive was to have that planet and that world be brought through from him. So like, it's like, okay, well, what does that mean? Are we going to learn about that in the Justice League books?
Yeah.
Or is, what is their plan? That's the biggest thing. If they keep to the plan, hopefully it's a good one. But if they start straying from it, you'll see an event sooner or later. And when they rush their events, you get like House of Brainiac, and stuff like that, So I just hope that they consistently write better books. And I really hope someone looks at that Absolute Martian Manhunter and
And
really,
go
really
burn that.
looks at it and says, you know what, maybe this isn't a good idea, or go, this is a limited run that ties in to something here. Maybe that's the one that ties into, Dark Side or something, or, since he's a telepath, he figures out that there's another universe. Maybe they don't know about a multiverse.
Mhm.
The absolute universe doesn't know about multiverses. Maybe that's the character that you can do that with, but the story has to be good. We already know the art isn't, so
Yeah. That's why they're only doing a 6-issue series, because they know that shit is probably not selling past issue. I think on issue 3, that shit is gonna be like 25 on the ICV2 charts.
that's what I mean. So yeah,
We'll see where it goes.
we'll
But
see.
my closing thoughts on this is, hey, I think both books, it's like, I don't want to do that middle ground thing people do, they're fence sitting, but I generally do think both books it's very equal. But I will say the edge slightly goes to Ultimate Spider-Man, because I do feel like Jonathan Hickman wrote a much more interesting story with setting up the universe compared to the Batman one. I think if you ask me, I would just say Absolute Spider-Man is slightly better. But Absolute Batman is good. It's not a bad book itself. And what's good about these books is you can just buy the Spider-Man, at the time I was doing this video, you could just buy Ultimate Spider-Man Married with Children Volume 1, just get in. Absolute Batman, you could just buy Absolute Batman #1 and get in. Simple right there, with no prior knowledge. But yeah, so thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're signing out, guys. See you guys later. Peace.
Yep.
Wow, I am black. So be here for like another 2 minutes, because I got to get my second show today up and ready to go.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Hope you feel better. Hopefully your body just didn't explode. This past week. Anything you want to plug before we head out?
No, I was gonna put out my videos this past week, but that didn't work out that well.
Because your body exploded.
Well, yes. So hopefully I will get them out this week, because one of them's done, but I like putting out a finished video whenever I'm almost done with the other one. So, but yeah, that's about it. I'm not really doing much right now. So,
I mean, we could be having sex. That's a great normal thing for a single lady and a single guy to do. Friends with benefits, Do you think I could satisfy her with 9 inches? Yes. Thank you.
I don't want to be a part of this conversation.
Oh God. So
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
You both got sex? What a crazy lady.
This no, I didn't say. No, I was not you. Her about sex. Oh,
she's over here writing about hermaphrodites and dudes, and she's like, gross. I'm like, this lady, man. Women being women never cease to amaze me. But yeah, so thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show. I have more consistent content coming out for you guys later on this week, and we'll see you guys later. We'll be back here again on Friday. I'll let him know, and I'll let you guys know on Twitter about what next comic book we're going to be reviewing. Hopefully, probably most likely Absolute Batman #2, but if not, we'll see what's going to happen. But yes, see you guys later, and have a great day, everybody.